All right, welcome back to We Should Jam Sometime. Got Crownlands here. Thanks for coming in, guys.
Of course,
Thanks
man.
for having
This
us.
is cool. You guys stoked for your show tonight?
Yeah.
Yeah. You played with Legal Kill before, eh?
We haven't.
No,
No,
but
eh?
we played with
First time.
Palais Royale before.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't checked them out yet, so
Yeah, they're
that should
cool.
be
They,
good.
they look like My Chemical Romance, but they sound like early Rolling Stones. So
Oh,
it's
nice.
kind of like
Yeah,
a
it's a
cool
cool-
dynamic.
Yeah, that's
cool
dope.
contrast.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Cool. How many times you guys played at Rum Runners? Must be
A handful
A few
now.
times.
Yeah.
It was our first out of town show, actually, like almost 3 years now. We opened
Oh,
up for
really?
Bodhi Jar in their EP release.
nice.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was a really good memory.
Yeah, that was a good introduction to playing out of town shows.
Yeah,
actually.
for sure.
Yeah, it was wild. So it's nice to come back. I think this is going to be our third or fourth time playing Rum Runners.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. But we've done London a bunch, and we have a good scene here now, which is
Yeah,
really nice.
definitely,
Like really
yeah.
good friends and family out here. So
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Was that the first time you guys played with Bodhi Jar?
yeah,
Yeah,
and we've played with
it
them
was
a bunch now.
I was gonna
Amazing.
say you guys are pretty good friends, eh?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're good. We're tight.
Bodhi Jar, yeah.
I'm a huge advocate.
Yeah, I
Me and
love those
Dakota
guys.
used to work together actually.
Oh,
Him
sick.
and Drew are from my hometown, so I've known those guys for a long time.
Nice.
Wicked.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, awesome. And then you guys are coming back in a couple weeks.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're back
another
again.
Monday night. Yeah,
Yeah,
we're opening
yeah,
up for the
another Monday.
Lazies.
Yeah.
yeah, we're doing a few dates with them.
Yeah, my band's actually opening that night too.
Fuck
so
yeah.
we get to
Hey,
play together.
Perfect.
Right on, man.
Yeah, I was pretty stoked about that. That's
So
my
hey,
fir-
we should jam some.
Yeah, it was like kind of worked out. We just got asked last week, and I was like, "Oh, cool! I'm doing a
Yeah.
podcast with them, so it's perfect."
That's fantastic.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
great.
Yeah, I was stoked. That's our first Rum Runner show, so I'm really excited
Nice.
for
Oh,
that.
right on,
Yeah.
man.
Where else
so-
have you played?
We're just looking to. We've only played London shows so far. I think that'll be our like 9th show. I think
Sick.
so. This summer we're trying to get out of town a little bit, but yeah. And then we had to reschedule a Horseshoe show because we had that set up. But yeah, but that should be fun. You guys sold out the Horseshoe like
Yes,
a
we
little
did.
while
Yeah.
ago. Eh?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah,
Thanks.
we weren't expecting to. We knew it was going to be a big show.
Yeah, but
um,
when we were told that it sold out, we kind of freaked out.
yeah, it sold,
Yeah.
Out, it sold out in advance. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's
then-
wild.
Yeah, very lucky.
Yeah, were you guys headlining that night or? Were you...
We were co-headlining with
Okay.
Last Bullet, who's it was their last show.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Cool. So that's a bit of a bummer, I guess, that show.
Yeah, it
but-
was a bittersweet for sure.
Yeah.
It was kind of like it was big. It was our first show of the year, and then it was their last show. It was like a passing of the torch kind
Right.
of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So let's like take me back to like the start, like the formation of you
Okay.
guys. Is that a while back? How long you guys been together for?
No, that's
Uh,
just
30,
2.5
30 years now.
2.5 years,
Okay.
give or take a few days.
Right.
Yeah.
Have you guys known each other for a while though? Or?
Yeah, about like 4 years.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Jeez. Yeah.
The
yeah.
beginning.
Yeah, and when we started out, we didn't have a name yet, but we were still trying to do out of town shows. We had just really figured out Crownlands when that Bodhi Jar show came up.
Oh,
And
okay.
so
Mm-hmm.
we weren't even sure if it was going to be like the permanent name, but
Right.
we built up a decent enough reputation quick enough that
Where
it
it's
just
like,
stuck.
oh well, it's sticking now.
Yeah.
no, we felt comfortable. With
Yeah,
that the whole
right.
time.
Where's that? Is there like a story behind the name or?
Sure, Cody, take it.
Yeah. So I'm Mi'kmaq from. It's a native tribe
Right.
from Nova Scotia, and with Crownlands, we were really trying to reclaim that kind of
Yeah.
term
Okay.
because Crownlands itself is used for many different things in Canada and Australia. It's used for clear cutting, old growth forests. It's
Okay.
used for oil, those big oil sands in Alberta and stuff
Right,
like
yeah.
that. And you can also camp on Crownlands for up to like 2 weeks,
Okay.
completely free. But yeah, so there's things that Crownlands as like a term represents that we don't necessarily agree with, especially
Right.
being Native American, and there's a lot of reservations that
Right.
are on they're actually all on Crown land,
Right.
and their living conditions are terrible.
Yeah.
So us being called Crown lands is kind of like a kind of bringing everybody together, unifying and under this new term that we're kind of reclaiming as like a great experience. And
Yeah, and
something-
raising awareness that as a
Yeah.
country we have a long way to go to
Right.
do right by our most vulnerable people, which is the
Yeah.
indigenous community. So
Absolutely.
trying to raise awareness for that.
That's awesome.
yeah,
That's usually people are like, no, I don't want to tell you the story, but you guys have like a killer, like
Oh,
good
cool.
vibe behind that. That's awesome. I didn't
Thanks.
realize that.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. So one thing I actually wanted to talk to you guys about I bring it up like a lot depending on like who walks through here, is the difference between like putting out EPs and like full length records.
Sure.
Okay.
So like obviously you guys are doing pretty well right now with just 2 EPs out. So you think like in 2018 it like really matters, or you know.
As a rock band, you still need to put out a respectable body of work.
Right.
And the LP still has weight in the rock world.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think that's even this year in the last 6 months, I think that's rapidly changing with the industry valuing Spotify streaming numbers over everything else.
Yeah.
And the model really in the last like half year has completely changed
Yeah.
for a touring act. And it's back in the day, you'd release a full length record, you tour on it for 18 months, and then you'd go quiet and go write and record
Yeah.
the next album.
Right.
That doesn't work anymore. You have to put out a single and go tour that, do a big music video release, then
Yeah.
put out another single, and you have to like curate the proper Spotify playlists, and that's how you build a career as a rock band nowadays.
Yeah,
Right.
the landscape's completely changed.
Yeah, for sure.
That being said, though, there is still value to a body of work, and when you play a show, that's where your record sales happen. Because even for like the bigger bands like Arkells, 90% of their record sales are at the side of the stage after
Yep.
a show.
Right.
Yep.
And you have to know your audience and your market. You know, some bands are going to sell cassettes, some bands are going to sell CDs, some bands are going to sell vinyl, and you just have to figure out who's listening to your band, who wants to buy what, and who wants to support you in what capacity.
Right.
And
Yeah.
obviously, there's different margins for printing records. You know, you're looking at upstart costs of $5,000 if you
Right.
want to print your album on vinyl, and that's not including your recording costs, your mixing costs, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't think this day and age you need to put out full-length records. I think a 5 or 6 song EP will suffice.
Yeah.
That being said, though, all the bands that we look up to and respect put out album after album.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that's just not the reality for rock music
Right.
anymore.
Yeah. I mean, maybe we'll do it someday, but
Right.
not
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah, it's not like a focus. Or
yeah,
No,
like
not
there's
at all.
exceptions to the rule. Like
Yeah.
King Gizzard, they
Yeah.
put out 5
Yeah.
full-length records last year.
They're incredible.
Yeah, absolutely.
But they're not trying to be mainstream,
No.
and that's fine, right?
Yeah.
We're kind of walking that middle path
Line.
right now.
Yeah.
We're not quite
sure.
mainstream, but we're not quite underground the way Gizzard is,
Right.
and that's fine. You know,
Yeah.
we're still finding our audience, and
Yeah,
yeah,
definitely. Yeah, and like also, if you're gonna put out 12 songs but only 6 of them are good, then
exactly.
What's the-
I mean, when
yeah,
you're
what's the
recording, you're
point?
just to say that
budgeting.
you have a record, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, cool. So you guys did the second one that you just put out, Rise Over Run. You did that at Chalet?
Yes, we did.
did. Yeah.
Did you do the first one at Chalet? Or
No, we did the first one at Coalition.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. So then what brought you to Chalet other
Well,
than the
I
history?
mean, it's
of the
beautiful.
the history. We were just looking for a new experience. We wanted to do something kind of like inclusive and holistic. We wanted
Right.
to be able to
Yeah.
go in there for like 5 or 6 days.
And it was just such an experience
Yeah.
just to like capture that
Yeah.
and live that experience for 5 days.
Yeah, we had a lot of Fanshawe alumni as a
Mhm.
part of that.
Oh,
we had
really?
Justin Melly. He produced, engineered, and mixed that record.
Awesome.
He poured just as much of himself into that album as we did.
Yep.
And then we had Ivan Kibis, and he did
Oh, cool.
the filmography for
Yeah.
it. And
All
so
right.
that's why we wanted to go in there, because it was such a beautiful space. We wanted to
Yeah.
do a documentary series about it.
Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
did like a 5-part episodic thing where we did
Mm-hmm.
each episode premiered through a different local blog.
Right.
And that helped us a lot, especially at the time of the release.
Yeah,
And,
absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
yeah, it's just
remember
about
those were coming out.
thanks.
It's
yeah,
cool to capture that little moment in,
Right.
in a visual historical context.
Yeah,
Mm.
for sure.
yeah.
So the documentary portion of that, you like walking into the recording process. Obviously, that must have been a thought that you wanted to do that, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
like-
we knew before we completely booked everything.
Yeah.
That's what we wanted to do.
Right.
Yeah.
So then when you're in there kind of recording, you're also trying to like think of like, oh wait, we need to be doing this like filming like documentary parts. Like obviously there's just B-roll of you guys like recording, and then
Yeah.
you gotta do like the little sit down interview talks. Was
yeah,
that all
it-
We
after?
held off
flowed
the most
pretty-
of the interviews after the
Right,
recording.
Yeah,
yeah.
it flowed pretty naturally though. Like he'd just come in with his camera while we were recording in the room,
Right.
and maybe those were takes we didn't take, but like we got some
Yeah.
good footage or like things like that. But yeah, we held off a lot of the interviews until afterwards, and it just flowed real natural.
Right.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I think this day and age, as an artist, you have to let people into your world more.
For sure.
'Cause,
Yeah,
30
everybody-
or 40 years ago, it was like the cool thing to be like the hip artist that
Yeah.
is like untouchable. But nowadays, for me, what gets me excited when I'm finding a new band is like people that I can relate to. And
Right.
so that's
Yeah.
what we want to do with our art, and kind of like show people like from start to finish, like what it takes to actually make a Crownlands record.
Well,
Right.
it's so cool to be so close to the band now, and in a day and age where people are consuming media more than any other generation, and you know, you got to be that available to them, and to feel that connection.
Definitely.
I feel it.
I think with you guys too, that it's because you're just a two-piece that people are like really interested, because there's still a lot going on.
What do you
in
mean
your
by
music.
just a two-piece?
No, I'm just kidding.
Well, let's talk about that. Like, what are some pros and cons to being a two-piece?
Being a two-piece, like it's two of us on stage, but our tour manager and front of house guy Justin, who's also part of the records, he's pretty much our third member. You know, he's doing just as much behind that soundboard as we are on stage.
Right.
Yeah.
I think we both have to have like a much more multitasking element to our music. Cody is pushing himself to his absolute limits by like drumming and singing like that night after night. And then I've got like a stupid big keyboard rig now that I'm playing with my feet, and I just picked up a new double neck so I can play guitar and bass as well.
Nice.
And it's just
like a circus. How
Yeah.
much can you add?
Yeah, exactly.
How much
It's
can
like-
you add until it derails?
Exactly.
We're
We
not
haven't
there
we
yet.
haven't hit there yet, but we're getting frightfully close, which is great.
So then the drumming and singing thing, that's always like just sort of its own little thing, because not too many bands do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was that something that you've like always done? Have you always been a drummer? Or?
I've always been a drummer.
Okay.
So I've been a drummer since I was a real little kid. My dad was a drummer, raised on it. And then about, I guess, like 4 years, going on 4 years now, I started singing. And then I started incorporating singing while drumming because, a previous band member, wasn't necessarily pulling his weight vocally. And I just kind of had to learn on the spot and kind of pushed myself through that.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it was never like a super conscious thing to think about the coordination of singing and drumming. It just kind of like, I was almost focusing entirely on the singing and not the drumming, just because I've been playing drums so long.
Right. So you already knew how to do that, so it wasn't really.
Yeah. It was more so like, oh my God, singing's hard.
Yeah. Did you know that you were like a good singer before that, or
I had no idea.
Really?
He still doesn't think he's a good singer. I have to like prop him up a bit.
That's funny, man. So then, is it weird? Well, probably not now, but usually because with the tube, when like you're the front man almost, being just like at the front.
We should like
So-
Cody's front stage, left and I'm front stage, right?
So
Oh,
with our
okay.
shows, it's actually
yeah,
both of
yeah.
them.
We used to deal with having Cody in the back of the
I was
stage,
gonna
and it
see
just
you a
doesn't
couple
work that
times,
way.
and
The energy's something in the energy's lost in translation.
Yeah, and in the early days, I had to definitely be moving a bit more. I still do, and like I'll talk to the audience a bit more than Cody does.
Right.
That's fine.
Gasping
It's
for
exactly, it's perfect. I say hello, how you doing? As Cody's like chugging water
Right.
and stuff. So it kind of works.
It works.
Works out that we both communicate with the audience on a verbal level, and let's, again, as you say, like, lets people in.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I've only seen you guys, I think, twice, and so both times you were kind of like just scattered a little bit.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But yeah, it makes more sense, I think, if
Yeah, totally.
two of you to bring you both up to the front. For
Yeah.
sure.
Also, I gotta say, like, I love that book, man. Dharma Bums.
Oh, thanks. I
That's
just
like-
started it. I'm not all the way through it yet.
Have you read a bunch of Kerouac before?
No, that's what I just wanted to get into it.
Yeah,
I've like
it's-
researched him a bit.
Yeah,
so
that's a start, man. That's
I figured
perfect.
it was a good start.
Yeah, that's his most optimistic one.
I've heard that.
It gets darker and darker as the years go by, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. That's cool, man. Yeah, because you guys tour around a lot, so do you have any like?
Yeah, we know
any
what the road's
kinda-
like.
Yeah. What was the sort of move from like? Did you guys make a conscious decision to acquire a touring manager, or did it just sort of happen naturally?
It's happened naturally.
Very
We just kind of
naturally.
like forced Justin into it.
Right.
Before that, he he's the last couple tours he's been our front of house guy, but now that we're
Right.
starting to get all these bigger shows and opportunities, we're trying to give him a bit more responsibility,
Right.
as if he didn't have enough already.
Right.
So he has too much hair. He needs to pull out some. So
Right.
that's what we're trying to really what we're trying to do.
Yeah, so that's got to take a little bit of pressure off you guys then in
Yeah.
terms of like show booking, because that can
Yeah.
be
Oh
stressful.
well, we
It's
have
dead separate,
we have
Yeah.
a booking agent, and
Okay.
and that they book all of our shows and get
Okay.
contracts set up, and it's just
Right.
Justin's job to message the production managers of the venue and be like, hey, like, so we're coming with this and this and this,
Right.
kind of thing. Yeah.
Right on. Yeah. So then when did you reach out to like a booking agent or?
It kind of happens naturally. You just have to get their attention.
It's kind of frustrating because everyone's so vague about those kinds of things.
Yeah.
But honestly, it's as vague as it sounds. It's just kind of happens.
You just keep playing until like our agent Ralph James last year when I met him, he's like, okay, kid, like sell out the Horseshoe Tavern and then you'll have my attention, kind of thing. It's like. Okay, like that's some pretty, it's like pretty huge standards.
Yeah, we were so intimidated by him at first,
but then we signed on with him, and then a week later we sold out the Horseshoe Tavern. Wow. So it's kind of like, okay, so that's the benchmark that you should hold yourself to before you can start shopping for an agent, right? And then I think the most important thing in this industry is an agent. The shows that you're getting, that's insane. The most important thing.
Sure.
Labels and publicists are important, but if you're not playing good shows and you're not like crushing every show you play, then don't even think about the other stuff.
An agent changes your entire world.
I bet. I just know, like, for us, because I'm the one that like emails out for stuff, and it's very frustrating, like at the start, right?
You gotta just slug it out though. And it will pay off, if you keep to that.
Right. Yeah. And that's when other people I've had come in here have been like, just reach out to bands that you want to play with.
Always it's band to band.
Those band to band connections, even when you have an agent, are the strongest connections. Right. They can have a say of whether you want to tour together or not, those things still hold true in this day and age in the industry.
Every big show that we have, like, we're touring with the Lazies because we're friends with them.
Right.
We're opening up for Monster Truck because we've built a really good relationship with those guys. Right. And it's stuff like that, right? Where at the end of the day, no matter how big you are, if the band that you want to open for, or you don't want to have them open for you, if you guys aren't into each other, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, it's just not going to work.
That's what's so still pure about the music industry, is no matter how far up you go, the bands that are touring with each other, it's not because they were forced to by their agents, it's because there's an actual music and friendship connection.
Right. Which just make the shows better.
Yeah.
More so than not. I mean, I'm sure that still happens where people don't like each other, but more times than not, that's the case.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's awesome. Who are like some smaller bands that you guys are around that maybe people don't know about that we should check out?
Well, Bodhi Jar, again, they're the best. We're good buddies with O Geronimo.
Yeah,
they're
cool.
fantastic.
I had Kieran on here.
Nice.
A few episodes ago. He was super cool guy.
He's a great guy.
Yeah. And an amazing songwriter is Alex Nunes.
Okay.
He plays in a number of bands, and he has a few projects coming out, and just watch for him. He's like one of the best songwriters I've ever seen.
Cool.
In Wine Lips.
Dope. Cool. They did a guest lecture for us probably like a month ago.
Cool.
Now, Mike brought them in. They were cool guys.
Aurora knows her shit.
Yeah.
Like, she is like every band that she plays in. She also plays in Olivia and the Creepy Crawlies, and like she does like all the booking for both those bands. She's one of the hardest working people in the indie scene for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're going out to China.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
that's incredible.
Yeah, you guys want to play in China someday?
Yeah,
I do.
I do want to play China.
Where's the farthest out that you guys have been?
We're flying out to BC in 2 days to open up for Sam Roberts, so that's gonna be cool.
Yeah, where are you doing that? Like
the Commodore Ballroom.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
What are some of like the bigger crowds that you guys have?
Well, we played Casino Rama like 2 days ago.
With the
and that
Headstones?
was humongous.
Yeah, I think that was like over 3,000 people.
Wow.
But it's kind of funny when you play at a small club in front of 50 people, you see everybody's face and it feels really big.
Yeah.
Whereas, there, like, the lights are so bright and
you can't see anything.
Yeah, I thought it was empty. It's like, yeah, whatever. I guess we play in front of nobody. And then we walked out and saw the crowd.
Yeah. So
cool.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Do you guys find that easier than like really, really small?
I don't care if there's 2 people in the
difference.
audience or 2,000. I don't care. I'm gonna try and put on the same show I do every night.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we were pretty hyped. Like it was our first like big stadium arena show kind of thing. And you definitely fight off a little bit of nerves. It's not exactly the same as those little intimate crowds, but you know what? You can definitely push the same energy.
For sure.
Yeah.
Definitely. There's more people to feed off of.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you guys find like if you do, I'm sure now it's gone away a little bit with like stage fright and stuff, but do you find when you are like a little nervous before shows now that goes away once you get up there and start?
Yeah. I'm just more like just warming up my voice for like an hour before.
Right.
Just making sure it's okay, Just I always want to perform the best I can, especially vocally.
Right. Do you guys have any like weird pre-show?
No. Like Cody and I always hug before we play a show because we remember like at the beginning of like our touring days, if we were like tired and malnourished and like mad at each other, and we'd play, it wouldn't be the
Right.
same. So we
Right.
just like we try and put any bullshit we have aside.
Right.
We ground ourselves by
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
That's awesome.
and we eat an unhealthy amount of falafel.
Yeah. There's no such thing as an unhealthy amount.
An unholy amount.
Is there any like tour story that's been like really stands out for you guys, good or bad?
We've been fairly lucky for like
Yeah. Knock on
like,
wood.
yeah, like we're pretty boring on the road. Like we don't really drink or consume drugs. So usually we just go and play the show and then go to bed.
Right.
Well, we like chill with people sometimes,
Yeah.
but like nothing too rowdy. We're pretty
Right.
chill.
Yeah. Trying to think of anything good.
Yeah.
I
Got
don't
any
know.
juicy stories?
Should have
juicy
told you
stories?
before you came in.
Yeah. I don't know. No? I don't know. I'd say like some tour highlights, you know, in our earlier days before we had an agent. Wow, it's weird that you say that. We played at an amazing place called the Commune in Nova Scotia.
Oh, yeah.
And that place is like home. It's just magic. Like the people that run that place, and New Glasgow is this tiny town, and there's no industry there. There's no there's like no
Scene, really.
real
Well,
economy either. But everyone there is just like arts focused.
Okay.
It's just such an incredible community of people that are going to support any kind of art and music.
Right.
Yeah.
And and
Yeah, the
Hollywood,
Hollywood
Star
Room
was
was pretty
amazing
cool.
too.
Yeah, that's a little
There's all
story.
these cool little spots, man. Like, but yeah.
So we once drove from Oshawa all the way to New Brunswick.
In one
It was
shot.
like a 19-hour drive.
Oh, nice.
And we get into this place called the Hollywood Star Room in the middle of nowhere, New Brunswick. And we had no idea what to expect. We had no idea how people were going to come to the show because it was actually in the middle of nowhere. And so it's super, super dark out. It's super early in the morning.
It was like 3 a.m. when we
Yeah.
got there. Yeah.
And this guy just comes out and welcomes us, and we park our van at his house. It's like a giant house.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
And-
like a house venue, kind of like House of Targ, only
Right.
in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
But then we go into this place, and it
Yeah.
is the most incredible, over the top, decked out,
Yeah, like-
80s themed, like
Oh,
Like,
wow.
the floors are all mirrored and everything.
Oh,
yeah.
and it's like leopard print couches everywhere.
Oh,
and,
that's crazy.
it was so trippy.
And I think we played in front of
4
10,
people?
yeah, maybe 10 people in
Yeah.
total. No, it was less than
No, it
10
was like
people
four-
for sure.
4 or
yeah,
5.
yeah. It was awesome
Wow.
though. It was one of like the
Yeah.
best shows we played that whole
Oh,
tour, just
yeah.
because like, you know,
They were so nice. They were so accommodating.
it was awesome.
Really great people.
Right.
And that's what it's like all about, you know.
Yeah.
That's such a memorable experience because of those people.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah, that sounds killer. You guys playing like a lot of house shows still, or I'm sure you still
When
get
we
asked.
can, when we can. I love the house show vibe. You know, we've done a show at House of Targ here.
Yeah.
That was
And,
pretty wild, actually.
Yeah, that
Some
was one of
crowd
like
surfing
that. There's yeah.
in someone's basement, and
Yeah.
they almost hit the ceiling. Like that's
Yeah.
a good time.
Yeah,
That's
Cody
a
did a
good-
drum solo, and I went crowd surfing.
Yeah.
Like maybe an inch
Yeah,
between,
those ceilings are low down
Oh,
there.
yeah.
man.
Yeah, it was wild for sure.
That's hilarious. There was a house last year called Sad Taquito, which is like essentially the same thing.
Yeah.
But their basement was like totally unfinished. So when people
Oh.
were crowd surfing, they would like grab onto the like the trusses and stuff.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Yeah, they got kicked out of there though. They weren't allowed back.
It's a sad time for the
Yeah.
sad taquito.
Yeah, that was one of those houses like during a party. It was like, oh, this is like rad and kind of dirty, but like
True.
in a cool way.
True.
But then if you went over on like a Wednesday afternoon, you were like, oh, yeah, people like live here still. It's not really like just a venue. Let's talk
You're
about
the-
music
yeah.
videos.
Sure.
You guys just put one out for Mountain,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
How
we
many
did.
music videos? You did one for Mantra off the first.
We have 2 music videos.
Right.
Yeah, we have a
Yeah.
couple live session videos that we've
Right.
put out in between. But yeah, Mountain is definitely the best thing we've put out as far as like quality and
Right.
what it means for us as a band.
Yeah.
Right.
We worked with this director Cam Noble, and
Okay.
he's won some awards for it. He's done like anti-gun PSAs.
Okay.
And so I felt like he was the right guy for the project because he was definitely coming at it from the right place.
Right.
Because the meaning behind Mountain is talking about colonization and residential schools
Right.
and like the transgenerational suffering
Right.
of the indigenous people of Canada.
Yeah.
And the video and the song touches on all those points in like a fairly, sometimes blunt way, in some ways a more like abstract poetic way.
Right.
And I think it's, like a really strong mission statement for us as a band.
Mm-hmm.
And
so it was just right to work with him. It's a super high production value, and we're just really thankful. And we got like the right crew on board to work with that.
Mm-hmm.
Like Kale Crow, he reached out to a local reservation and got the kid who starred in it, and it was just it meant a lot to everybody.
Yeah, Caden, who played the lead role, he's been in a few indigenous films as well already, and so the kid's
cool.
like 10, I think, and he was like the most professional dude on the set. It was amazing working with him. He was just so easygoing, and I'm sure you've seen the video. And there's some scenes that like weren't fun to shoot, and he crushed it. It was amazing. And we premiered it with Global Citizen, which is a charity that we're looking to work with in the future for highlighting women's stories on reserves and just talking about stuff like that and bringing these issues to light. And that's what we're going to try and do with our music in the future.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So then you guys you reached out to him then to work to direct the video.
He reached out to us.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we played this show at the Velvet Underground.
Okay.
And in Toronto, and he came up to us and asked us if we wanted to make a music video, pretty simple like that. And we're like, well, sure.
That's how most opportunities as an artist come out. You go and play a show and you meet really cool people and you stay in touch.
Right.
And that's why the live show is still the most important part of anything.
Because you never know who's going to be in the audience.
Yeah.
You really never know.
For sure.
Yeah.
You got to give it your all every night.
Every night.
Yeah.
Exactly right. If it's 2 people or 2,000, do the same thing.
Yeah, definitely. That's cool. So then did you guys already kind of have the idea, or then once the opportunity kind of came up, you went from there?
It just came from brainstorming, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
It was a long time coming. I think it was.
Yeah, it was.
At least 3 months of just talking about it before any scene was shot in the first place. And then after that, everything very quickly came together.
Yeah.
Cool. Was it like a day of shooting, or?
No, it was scattered.
It was
scattered over 6 months.
Yeah, 5 or 6 days total of shooting, and that was while we were on tour with One Bad Son as well. So we'd come back for a day, shoot a video, go back on the road, and come back and do another day of shooting.
Nice.
Yeah, try and get everything together. I remember we played Sudbury, and then drove back that night. And I think we got home at like 5 or 6 in the morning, and then a lot of the water scenes of the video were shot the next day, and so I had to go on the set and bring food and water for everybody. And I was
try to be alive.
Yeah, but that's what you do, man. That's what you do to make your dreams happen.
Yeah, for sure. Must have felt good to really come out then.
Yeah, it was a lot of work.
Yeah, that's killer. Just because your first one for Mantra must have been.
That was a day of shooting. That was like a much easier shot, and we did. Colin Artinian did that, and he's like this amazing indie horror director, and he's had some films debut at cons last year.
Yeah,
he's crushing it right now in that scene, and he just put out a film called Destruction Makes the World Burn Brighter.
Okay,
and I think that's circulating the indie film festival scene right now.
Right. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Killer. You guys have any more ideas for videos soon?
Oh,
tons.
So many ideas.
I mean, I guess there's always ideas.
I want to do one with us in space. I just need to write the song to justify it.
That's hilarious. Let's get Crownlands in space, everybody.
Let's do it.
Patreon.
Crownlands in space 2019.
You listening, Elon?
Yeah.
That'd be weird, eh? If Elon Musk was listening to this. You just search
One day.
Really indie
Tesla technology,
podcasts.
man.
It's
You
crazy.
never know what it can do.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
That's a weird thing to plug, but we're into it. We're into it for sure.
What's the writing process like with you guys?
It's
We don't.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't write anything.
Just
No.
jam.
It's just
we actually try to not write.
Well, actually, when you're trying to write something, nothing comes out. I'd say the most exciting stuff for us has come out of us just
jamming, or
Jamming.
you're just rocking a riff and one of us just goes, "Oh my god,
Right.
yeah, more of that."
Yeah.
Or it's more expressive in our faces, I guess, while we
Right.
jam, and we kind of into it a song together.
Right.
Yeah, lyrically, it's pretty much 50-50, as far as us editing each other's poetry into something workable as a song.
Yeah.
And that's what's enabled us to, I think, have a unified voice in the band.
Okay.
Where if there's a song, it's pretty much like expressing both of our views or values. So
Right.
it's nice to be in a band where
It's great.
it's not like chicks and drugs,
Yeah.
man.
Right,
You know,
yeah.
so
It's my vision of the highway.
yeah, it's nice to be fairly collaborative on that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We're super collaborative.
Definitely. Were you guys in bands before this one?
I was in one other band. Kevin was in a few others.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how we actually met. A buddy of mine was auditioning for a band that Cody was playing drums in at the time.
Okay.
And then Cody and I just hit it off really, really well on like the first 2 minutes of meeting.
Yeah,
Right.
and he joined that other band for a time, and then he split and he was on tour.
Toured with another band for about a year, and it was called The Scenic Sound. It was like
Okay.
very, very pop, and
Right.
I pretty much cut my teeth on what it was like to be in a touring band, and then I came back with all these ideas and like,
Right.
okay, like this is what it takes to make it as a band, and it was almost like boot camp for how to tour.
Right.
And so then I just took Cody from this other band. I was like, let's do it, man.
Yeah.
And yeah, 2.5 years later, we're here.
That's killer. It's a little easier to tour with just two people then.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
definitely a pro
Yeah,
of,
it's,
of being a two-piece.
Yeah, for sure.
The gear makes it impossible to tour in a small vehicle now. So now we're shopping for a big ass van.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, more gear than people for sure.
That's cool. So what's next for you guys then?
We're heading to Vancouver in 2 days.
Right.
Yeah.
And we're gonna open up for Sam Roberts, and we got that monster truck gig and the Lazy's gig in Toronto.
Yeah. We have a gig in Ottawa, June 21st, which happens to be Canada's International Indigenous Peoples Day.
Oh, nice.
So that's pretty powerful. So we're going to be doing a big set with Sam Roberts then again.
Cool. Yeah.
And, hopefully, if any of you are watching this and fans of us, aggressively tweet Justin Trudeau to come out. That would be cool. Because what we want to do is get him to reinstate a director for the National Inquiry into Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women.
Right.
Because the director stepped down last year.
Yeah.
And no one stepped up to take that on again. So
Right.
that needs to change.
For sure.
And so that's what we're trying to do right now.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. Yeah. So you guys are just like really looking to stay involved in like different charities and stuff.
Yeah,
for
absolutely.
Yeah, 100%.
Indigenous people, and that's cool because then you have like a really good outlet with your music. Then
Exactly.
also
Yeah.
to kind
Yeah,
of
you don't want
move
to stand in
that.
front of 1,000
Totally.
people and be like, rock and roll, man. It's like there's a lot more meaning to the world than that. And if you can use your music to raise awareness about things that matter to you and the people around you, then fucking do it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Cool.
That's refreshing. You guys have any? Is the Vancouver date just the one show? Or?
It is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we just figured out all of the gear situation today, which is a breath of relief.
I bet. Yeah. You guys are still working day jobs.
Yeah.
As of
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah, my day job, I manage a music venue back in
cool.
Oshawa called the Mustache Club.
Okay. Oh
So,
yeah. Okay.
So other than being in Crownlands, it's the best job I've ever had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool. Right
Yeah.
on. Cool guys. So I think that's all I really have to ask you guys about.
Cool.
Um,
Thanks for having us, dude.
yeah,
I
man. Thanks
appreciate
for
it.
coming on. And
Yeah, looking forward to sharing the stage with you.
Yeah,
next,
man. I'm
couple
stoked.
weeks
I'm
from here, man.
stoked.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Well, thanks for coming on, guys.
Thank
and,
you, man.
See you around.
Thanks.
See ya.